Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. My name is Margaret Wiltshire. I'm a lifestyle by design strategist, and this is the video podcast series, Lifestyle by Design Not Default, where I share the stories of amazing people, amazing everyday people on the path to living their dreams. And today I have the honor of interviewing Francis. Francis, say hello, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Margaret. Hope all the viewers out there are having an awesome day.
Okay. Francis, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Margaret, and to everyone out there checking out this Google Hangout, this is actually my first one, but I just got my wisdom teeth taken out, so you're gonna have to bear with me if I'm not clear. But I'm currently an upcoming senior at the University of Delaware. I'm majoring in finance. I'm graduating early to where I'll only be taking three classes next semester. One of my most important hobbies is playing golf. I was actually first team All-State 3 years in high school. We ended up winning two state titles. And currently, I work part-time at JP Morgan Chase, and I also work on my own business in the wellness industry, and that's where I've really had the opportunity to be mentored by a lot of amazing and first-class people.
Awesome. Thank you so much there, Francis.
Oh, you're welcome.
So you're at the University of Delaware.
Yep.
What is your major currently?
Finance.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so originally I was actually finance and accounting, and sort of, I think it was the middle of my sophomore year, I realized that more so climbing the corporate ladder wasn't necessarily for me. And so the reason why is I saw a lot of guys at my country club who were making a lot of money, but they necessarily didn't have a ton of time to go spend with their family. And one thing I really started to value is having a lot of free time, going out and traveling the world, checking out the seven natural wonders and the seven man-made wonders of the world, and also being able to spend time with family. Growing up, watching my kids play sports, going out to field trips that they have, being able to coach my kids through all the little endeavors that they want to achieve.
Okay. So, Francis, you currently don't have any kids, right?
No, definitely not. That won't be until I'm in a very, very financially amazing place.
Okay. So this is thinking ahead how you want your life to be. You're
Absolutely.
already, you already have a vision for your life.
Absolutely, because I believe that if you don't envision your life and you're not willing to work for how you want it to be, then you're just going to fall into someone else's plan.
Okay. You'll be living by default, as I like to
Absolutely.
say. Okay.
Design, living life by design.
That's right. So tell me about the tell me about your entrepreneurship, your business. Like what events led you to have start a business on your own?
Okay, so my story goes back to, I mean, I've always been very, very hardworking, motivated, ambitious. Um, Back in high school, I really didn't do too well. I barely got into the University of Delaware. I was just having a good time with all my friends, got into some trouble, whatever. And then my freshman year, I just decided that I'm going to be successful. So just doing what I've been told, I got a 3.96 my GPA my freshman year. It was all A's and an A minus.
Wow.
Just doing what's required. And then one of my buddies approached me about a direct sales network marketing business, and at first I wasn't about it at all, just because my dad tried one of those things and it didn't work, and people at the top make all the money. I didn't want to check it out. But then one of my best friends, his name is Elidon Zaragoza, his dad actually owns a pretty big insurance company here in Delaware, and he's a multi-millionaire, and he gives back to charities. And he was telling me, like, Francis, you really got to take a look at this business because it could completely change your life. And so I took a look. I ended up meeting a 21-year-old at the time. He was making a multiple six-figure income at his age, and I just saw him and saw that if he could do it, then I could do it. And so I really got started with that business. I was in that company for around 15 months, and it wasn't a success at all. I was earning anywhere from like $200 to $500 a month, and that's where I think I really overcame a lot of adversity, and that really allowed me just to be the person who I am today, the person I am today through the struggle that I've had with that business.
Okay. Can you give me an example or tell me about a struggle that you had that, really hit you hard and it was a turning point for you?
Okay, so one of the biggest struggles that I've had is, the first month of my business, I actually received a $14 commission check from the company, and I was just so fired up and committed, and I was telling everyone that, okay, I'm going to be in that company paid for BMW in the next 3 months. I'm going to make this happen. If I do so well, like, I'm going to drop out of school. I'm going to do whatever's required to make this business happen. And I literally remember one of my best friend's dads, who was super, super successful. His family's, he was basically like my second dad. He's an amazing physician. He owns his own practice, his employees. He has a ton of real estate properties. He's well invested in the stock market. Just a well-diversified portfolio. But I went over to his house, and he literally told me, like, "Oh, are you a millionaire yet?" And that just, I think that really just hit me hard, in where I always knew that I was going to be successful in whatever I put my mind to, but just to see someone who I thought so highly of sort of try and put me down because I was doing something innovative and creative, that was sort of a low, but that's definitely allowed me to overcome the opinions of everyone else. And through being successful, the only opinion that you should really care about is yourself and what you want to achieve.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful lesson you learned at such a young age. Now, Francis, just to get your age out there, you are just 21 years old, correct?
21 years old.
Okay, you're rocking it for 21.
Thank you.
Most 21-year-olds that I know aren't even thinking like that. They are not quite sure. Not all of them, but most of them. They don't even have a vision yet for their lives, which is okay. But it's interesting to see that at such a tender age, you are so insightful and already learning lots of things. So now you're on your way. You've discovered that you can make your dreams come true. You actually have people around you who are living and breathing examples of what you can accomplish if you put your mind to it. Can you tell me, when was it that you discovered that you would need to have a mentor?
Absolutely. So it was March 22nd, 2014. I was still with that first network marketing company, and one of my mentors, really, really good friends with that business, so her dad actually ended up working for Alexis Romano, who is my mentor now. Alexis has a real estate business. She owns a gym. She's a certified health coach, and she's one of the top income earners in our company. So when my friend's dad figured out that Alexis went from $60,000 to $900,000 year 4 to year 5 of her business, my best friend got referred to my current business coach, Jeff Combs. And so, just because Mara was doing so well in my business, I went to one of his More Heart Than Talent events, which completely changed my life. I hired him as my success, my business, my sales, my mindset coach, and it was a $2,500 investment. I only had like $2,800 in my checking account, and I hired him. And I literally remember everyone telling me that it was such a bad decision. How, like, oh, you know how many drinks you can buy with that money? Like, I remember asking, like, my parents, like, oh, should I go hire him for this amount of money? And they said, no, I mean, that's so much money. And I don't know if it was fate or something, but the night before I was on Facebook and I saw a quote by Robert Kiyosaki, and it said, do what the idiots do and do the opposite. And I sort of saw all the people who were giving me this piece of it, like their advice and their input. They didn't have the lifestyle they wanted, and it didn't make sense that I would ever listen to their opinions. So I went ahead and hired Jeff as my coach, and that has completely changed my life. That has literally 10 times my income in the last year.
That is powerful. That's pretty powerful. And I like what you just said, you know, the quote from Robert Kiyosaki. That's something I think, okay, I haven't seen it, but, you know, do the opposites of what the idiots do.
I wouldn't necessarily either say idiots. I think Robert Kiyosaki says that a little bit straightforward and to the point. But, I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about. I read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was one of the first books that I read when first getting into entrepreneurship, and that changed my financial perspective, because at first I was just trying to climb the corporate ladder of a big company, and then I realized through reading that book is I'd rather become the owner of a company than work for one.
Okay. So how old were you at the time when you made this investment?
20 years old.
Okay, so that was about a year ago.
Yep.
So can you explain for us, what is mentoring?
I think it's just taking the advice and the life experiences of someone who has already done what you're looking to go out and do. And I really, really recommend Tai Lopez's, have you seen his TED Talk?
No, what could you say his name clearly again?
Tai Lopez. It's a T-A-I, and then his last name is Lopez. I really don't know what he does, but I mean, his TED Talk is really, really on point. And one thing I took away from Susan Sly, who is a philanthropist, she's been on like ABC. She has a book called The Have-It-All Woman, and she has a quote, something like, "Wisdom shall be known by her children." And they say that to be successful, it's not about the money that you earn, it's about the person that you become through the process. And by having an amazing mentor, that really allows you to learn what they've done, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that they have, and you can get to the process faster.
Okay. So can you explain to me what mentoring is not?
I'd say the biggest thing is, I mean, when you look at a mentor, it has to be someone who's accomplished exactly what you have. And you want to be very selective in taking advice from people, because there's so many different people who want to give their opinions on certain things. So one of my really, really good friends, Pete Tamillo, he at one point, he's 51, he's like semi-retired right now, he owns 6 businesses. At one point, his construction business was doing $5 million a year, and what he told me was, right when he graduated, he paid his own way through college, and right when he graduated, he was managing like an apartment complex or something, and then his like boss or something was talking to him like, "Hey Pete, you gotta come swing by my place at the Hamptons. We got like a 3-story house, like a nice pool in the backyard, like just an amazing house." And Pete like never really believed him, because he said, how is this guy making all this money when he can't be making this much money at the job that he's working at now? And then at one point, he happened to be in the New York City area. Pete's boss invites him over to the place. He checks out the house. It's the real deal. And Pete's like, how do you have like all this wealth? How is this even possible? And Pete's boss ended up being involved in the Amway business like back in like the 70s, 80s. Pete gets all jacked up, excited, fired up, and he asks his dad on his opinion on what to do. And Pete's dad tells him it's a terrible idea. People don't make money in those things, whatever. And anyways, Pete doesn't get started in the business. He ends up starting his own construction company. He works himself into $250,000 of liability debt. And I mean, he's just at a time and place where he's desperate to create an income. Another friend approaches him about the Amway business. He gets started in it. He doesn't do anything with the business, but through all of the personal development and personal growth that he learned with that company, Pete was able to pay off $250,000 of liability debt in 12 months.
Wow.
And he's actually one of my mentors as well. We play some good golf, and play some good, really, really good golf in the summertime.
Okay. So, it's fun to have. It's nice to have fun with your mentor also.
Definitely. He's actually having so he has like a lake house. I think it's on top of like the Chesapeake. I'm not sure what bay it is. It's in Perryville, Maryland, and he's having a couple of his friends over. He said I could bring a couple of my friends. So me and a couple of my best friends are going down there next Saturday, and we're going to be jet skiing and grilling chicken and grilling burgers, and we're going to grab all-you-can-eat crabs after.
Oh, nice, nice.
And I think that's one thing. I feel like people grow up and they're told that money is the root of all evil, and those people eat off gold spoons their whole life, and money doesn't hang on trees. But, I mean, my experience with people who have wealth and abundance is they're more open to sharing knowledge and sharing their experience. And like, you go out to dinner or lunch and they pay for the meals, and they're just very, very generous, as opposed to, I feel like I've come in contact with a couple people who are just like really, really bitter. And one of the things that I really took away is like, you can only bring people down in life when they're above you.
Okay. Okay, that's an interesting perspective. Very powerful too. So tell me, some of the mentors that you were talking about, it seems like they're also self-made, self-made millionaires or people who have built their own wealth. And there's a ton of experience in that.
I would say all of the people that I'd say I have one friend who, one buddy, he's 28 and he owns like 7-8 companies. I mean, he came from wealth, but he's 28 and he actually plays at the same golf course as Vice President Biden. I mean, he's amazing. He was my finance professor at Delaware. We're still really, really good friends, and I learned so much from him. Awesome guy. But I mean, aside from him, a lot of the mentors that I've had and people who have really shown me the way are really the definition of self-made.
Okay. So can you now explain to me some of the benefits that you can have from getting a mentor?
I'd say it's about the mindset that they really provide you, because if you don't have the correct skills, the habits, and the mindset to get to your goal, then you're just not going to get there. It's like, I'd say like direction is definitely a lot more important than speed. If we're both trying to head this way, we're both heading north, and I'm walking that way because I've received the right guidance, the right mentorship. And you can be running at 25 miles an hour as fast as Usain Bolt, but if you're running around in a circle, I will get there faster than you if I'm walking. And I think that's really the value that a mentor can provide.
So it's a bit like cutting the learning curve, and you can get results in your life quicker because you benefit from their experience. They're sharing their experience with you, which makes your journey a little bit easier.
Absolutely. And I mean, how I can relate and how this has completely changed my life is back when I was with that first direct sales company, I had a $9 an hour job. I was working retail at a clothing store. And I mean, it was a good experience, but I truly just hated it because I had to stand and fold clothes all day and take orders from from my managers who I felt like I brought more value to the marketplace and made better decisions than them. But I mean, I always loved my managers; they were awesome. But they're awesome people. And then the second thing is that for my first direct sales company, where I was earning probably like $200 to $400 a month, I've been with my second company with the right mentorship, have 10 times my income in less time, and I'm poised for exponential growth. By the time that I graduate in December, I think that my part-time income with my part-time business will exceed my full-time pay at my full-time job.
Okay. So can you share with me briefly, like some specific things that you've experienced with your mentor that has helped you, and they were real eye-openers and turning points for you in your life?
Yeah, so one thing that Alexis Romano has really taught me, and just some background information on her. She was in education for 22 years, did everything possible just to create an extra income. She served at restaurants part-time to make extra money, and she cleaned houses. Sometimes, I don't know if she wants people to know that, but so she was really unsatisfied with her job because she really loved the kids, but she was unsatisfied with the politics of it. Okay. So she started a business with our company part-time. Year 4, she temporarily resigned from her job, and I mean, year 5 and 6, she's now a millionaire, multimillionaire, and I mean, achieves an incredible income. But I completely lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Some specific examples, you know. That,
oh, okay. Yeah, one of the things is just keeping organized, because when you think of success, there's a lot of moving parts to success. And I mean, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is cleaning my bed, staying organized. Like right here, I have in my room, I have 3 whiteboards.
Wow.
All from Alexis's system that I actually have a very detailed planner now where I book everything down to a half hour. So that's one thing that I've learned from Alexis specifically. One thing that I've learned from Pete, who he owned the construction business, is asking for what you deserve. So just recently I bought this North Skull bracelet. It's like a London-based company. It's like a jewelry company, and I bought like a piece of jewelry, and it's like a magnetized bracelet. This is a new one that I got in, but the old one, the magnet didn't work. And I feel like before I would have had the philosophy that, oh, I mean, they're not going to send me a new one. I might as well just not ask. I might as well just save me the time. But I shot a quick email. I explained my situation, and they sent me a new one.
Okay. And
then, I mean, my buddy Carlos, he's also a millionaire. I mean, incredible guy. Literally the definition of self-made. He owns a real estate company in Philadelphia. He was telling me. So I recently just bought a new car, and I was telling him how I just prepaid 6 months of payments towards the principal on my car, and I want to get that car paid off as fast as possible. And he's like, instead of paying money towards that car, why don't you put money down, get a real estate property, rent it out in a gentrified area, and have that appreciate in the next 3 to 5 years, and have the profit that you make from the rental property you pay for your car payment. And it's just a different philosophy. And just, I think that learning from successful people who are more successful just completely changes your philosophy. Because growing up, I believed that if I would have earned a 6-figure income for myself, that I would have made it and I would have been satisfied with that. And through seeing all these average, normal people achieving great things, now I have the standard for my life that I'd say the standard for that I hold for myself is $100,000 a month.
Wow.
And that's just from being around the right people and seeing that if they can do it, why can't I? And I have their guidance, and they really didn't.
You know, that brings me back to Tony Robbins, and where he says, and I'm sure there are other gurus that say this too, but you're pretty much the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time around. And it seems that you have put yourself around these people who dream big and believe that their dreams can come true and that they can live the type of lifestyle that they want. And you being around this and these people mentoring you has definitely changed your outlook and your perspective on life, and nothing seems impossible, you know.
That's definitely so true. Just because back in high school, I mean my 4 best friends used to go out Friday, Saturday, just get absolutely bombed, didn't even remember what happened, and we would go play Call of Duty and FIFA and just not do anything. And now it's like I look at the 4 people that I spend the most time with, and I'm almost becoming them, which is cool. And they always say that I have the benefit because I'm starting so much younger that they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is so powerful. I hope like tons of young people get to see this video, because I mean, I'm learning things from you here. You know, I'm curious. I'm interested about your whiteboards. I want to know what's on there.
So I have this, one of them, which I have right here. I have the producers who are in my business, and that's who I direct my energy towards when they require help, because I only spend my time with people who deserve it. Second, I have my goals. I have the qualities that I look for in people who I seek to work with and surround myself with. I have a list of what inspires me. So what inspires me is becoming a better person than I was yesterday. What inspires me is not clocking in, clocking out for the next 50 years. What inspires me is letting go of what other people think of me, traveling all over Europe and through the wonders of the world. And then the next 2 boards are for my business, and I have qualifying questions that I use to see how serious people are about achieving their health goals, achieving their financial goals. I have I have little statements for overcoming objections, and then a right board is just just affirmations that I have that really inspire me. So one is 2015 is my year. Being liked is overrated. Being respected is underrated. I'm trying to look. Momentum is not a time for sleep. In business, the yeses build my business, the nos build my character. Business advice from a poor person is like taking fitness advice from someone who's fat.
That's pretty powerful stuff there, Francis. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm like really blown away, because I mean, you're totally you're immersing yourself in this mindset, and that's really powerful. I think that you should give talks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that you should go out there and like inspire all these young people and share. I mean, you're still young and your story's still unfolding, but I think what you're doing is so great that I think you should share it.
I think that's really the vision that I have in terms of working with a lot of young people, because I think that, I mean, when you look at what's going on in the college market right now, how student loan debt, now the number one debt in America, $1.3 trillion. I mean, there's so many people that I know who are spending $25, $50, $100,000 in student loan debt to go to school, and they're getting a $30, $40, $50,000 job, and they're not able to pay it off. And one of the things that I learned from my mentor is that, I mean, student loans are front-loaded. They're 6 to 8% accumulating interest. So maybe to someone out there who is not really aware, because you just sign on the dotted line and don't even really read through the fine print. But if you were to take a $50,000 student loan and were to take 30 years to pay it off on 6% interest, which is very reasonable, by the end of it, you end up paying $108,000. A majority of it you're paying off at first is just interest. And a lot of people don't really realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of the people who fell victim to that. I'm still paying off my student loan debt. But back back to the story. So tell me, why is having a mentor, an invaluable asset?
You can't really learn from someone who hasn't gotten there yet. I mean, you could in terms of theory. I guess a lot of people have done it, but it's just a shortcut through the process. And I think that, especially in a world today in which we live in, and where we're waking up first thing in the morning and we're checking out our Facebook, our Instagram account, our Snapchat, Twitter, you can just be so dominated by average, negative, depressing thoughts. You can be filling your mind with problems. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Why am I a victim? Why did this happen to me? And I think that people who really succeed in what they do, they can really guide you down the right path to make it happen.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Who throughout your life so far has inspired you the most?
I'd say the biggest thing is my mother. So a little bit about my story. I was actually born in the Philippines. We came to the United States when I was just in 3rd grade. And I mean, when we first moved to America, it was actually me, my 4 other siblings. There were 5 of us. There was my parents, my aunt, and 2 sets of grandparents. So there were 12 of us living in a 3-bedroom tiny apartment, living off of food stamps. And I think that really inspired me, because it literally started from the bottom. And my mom had to redo residency when she moved to the US. So I would literally see her working 12 to 24-hour shifts. And my mom has the type of personality to where, I mean, she'll just work so hard. She'll never complain. She always has a smile on her face. She just has that discipline and that tenacity to just make it happen. And I'd say that she has totally inspired me. And she still does. I mean, she's amazing. Amazing.
I'm sure your mom is very proud of you too.
She is.
What do your parents think about all your big moves and your entrepreneurship?
I mean, my mom's like very I mean, they're both very, very supportive. I mean, they're paying for my education. I don't think they know like the depths of the depths of how I've gone, the income that I'm achieving, the specifics of my business. But I mean, they're definitely very supportive, I'd like to say. But in terms of like the specifics of it, I don't think they're too like in the loop. But I love it like when my mom comments like on my Facebook stuff. I think it's so cute. And
That's nice.
she's
You're friends with your mom on Facebook. I have a 15-year-old who refuses to be my friend on Facebook.
oh, I used to be the same way too. It wasn't until now that I started to, because like back in high school, you go out to all the parties and stuff, and you have your profile in super private, so your parents don't see the photos.
So tell me, Francis, we talked about a little bit about Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yep.
but what book have you found to be the most inspirational that you can recommend to somebody, who's listening?
I'd say the biggest breakthrough that I really had was through coaching with my business coach, Jeff Combs. And I don't get like referrals for recommending him. He doesn't have an affiliate program or anything, but he just goes hand in hand with what Tony Robbins teaches, which is why the reason why people do what they do. So as an example, back in high school, whenever I'd do something, I would ask all my friends and all my friends' parents what I should do. Like, hey, like I'm majoring in pre-med because my dad thought it was a good idea. I'm thinking of switching over to finance. And I would ask my best friend Kevin, my best friend Jacob, my best friend Pierce, my best friend Ellie, my best friend Bubba on all their opinions on why I should do that. When in reality, I should only my opinion matters. And figuring out why is so important. And Jeff Combs really assisted me with that. And the reason why that is growing up, I came from a family where like we didn't really get a lot of compliments. I didn't really get the good job. And I made first team all state 3 times, and it's like, why didn't you win states? Or if it was getting all A's and a B, why isn't it straight A's? And that really made me like validate and become essentially a people pleaser, which Jeff has really assisted me to let go of, and that's why his coaching was so powerful and has made such a huge impact on my life.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing to do? I know you mentioned golf.
Golf.
What do you love about it?
I'd say it's almost like just like peace and serenity. I mean, I like going out playing by myself, just clearing my mind, and just like being able to watch like the beauty of the golf course, and just especially when you're playing a really, really nice course, it's just like almost like just serenity. And I like golf too because of the connections that it allows you to make. I think that you can really judge someone's character based on how they act during a 4-hour round of golf. Really enjoy it.
Okay. It sounds, wow, maybe I should look into learning how to play golf. Sounds
Absolutely.
A little bit, part of it is pretty meditative for you there.
Definitely.
Okay.
And then just the feeling that you get when you you sink like a 30-foot breaking putt, or when you bomb a drive like 280, 300 that's just flush, like that is a sweet feeling.
Okay. Francis, what is your favorite app, and what type of cell phone or smartphone do you have?
Uh-oh, I cut off for a little bit. Could you say that again, Margaret?
Oh, sure. What is your favorite app, and what type of cell phone do you use?
I have an iPhone 5S with the battery pack because I'm always on my phone. I would say it's Facebook and Instagram because it allows me to build my business, acquire leads for free without paying for it. And talking to my buddy Carlos, he said he spends $2,000 a month to advertise for his real estate business, and he was really impressed by being able to build a platform where you can advertise for free and essentially have a business that has very minimal cost with very high potential for profits.
Okay, so you're leveraging there.
Yeah.
So tell me, for our audience members, before we go, what are 3 tips that you can give so that someone can start finding the right mentor for them?
I mean, number one, you have to find the right person. I'd say that's the biggest thing. Find someone in your life who has exactly what you're setting out to achieve. So if you're looking to own a real estate business and you want to have 10 rental properties, have someone who has 50 rental properties. Just someone who's like 5 to 10 times just way better than you. I mean, like my mentor for my current business earns like a thousand. I can't even calculate it in my head.
Okay.
Just 100 times, whatever the number. Find someone who's so amazing. Number 2, don't be afraid to reach out to these people, just because people who are more successful tend to be more open to give out a helping hand, especially the ones who are self-made, because they know the struggle. You know, they put the $10,000, the 10,000 hours of time in to perfect their skill set and to hone their craft. And I'd say the third thing is, I mean, there's so much free information out there. You can go on YouTube and I probably learn more from YouTube and reading $5, $10, $20 books and listen to audios than I have in school. And I mean, just doing that hand in hand with my formal education has really just exponentially grown my results. So yeah, I'd say those are the 3 things.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like, people on a path to living a lifestyle that they want to design? They don't want to live by default, they want to live on purpose, that you would recommend to them in addition to finding the right mentor?
I would say the biggest thing is just you can literally achieve whatever you want, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't, just because there's a lot of people out there who they see you going out and doing the big thing, and they've been your best friend since you were in elementary school, and they're going to try and hold you back, not because they don't want to see you succeed, but they just want to see you in the same group as them, because they don't have the courage to go out there and do it for themselves. And so it's like just not taking things personally, just being very detached from the outcome and just doing your own thing.
Okay. That's really powerful advice, and your experience so far is truly amazing and powerful, and I think that it will touch and inspire many lives. I do believe that. It's a great story that's unfolding here.
Margaret, one thing before we go,
Sure.
I saw this and I put this quote up on my Facebook earlier, and then if you're on there, I mean, definitely feel free to connect on LinkedIn, Francis Mangubat, Facebook, Francis Mangubat, Instagram, fmangs. But like one decision could completely change your whole life, because if you're just tuning in now, had I said no to my best friend Ellie Zaragoza and looking at his business, it's like I wouldn't even be where I am today. And it was such a small, like, I took 5 minutes to go out and look at that first direct sales business, and that has just transpired into all this. And the quote that I put on my Facebook is, one smile can start a friendship, one word can end a fight, one look can save a relationship, and one person can change your life.
Wow.
And it's so true, and it's literally been, that quote literally sums up the last year of my life and how it has completely changed.
Okay. Is that a Francis quote there?
It's not. It's not. I found it on Instagram, and that's one thing about Instagram. It's I mean, you can really just fill your brain with a lot of positive things. Okay. And my Facebook, whenever I see someone with like a negative thought, like my life sucks, this is too hard, whatever, it's boop, unfollow.
Okay.
And that's not, it's not personal. It's just separating myself from the outcome and just doing what's best for me, because I deserve to surround myself with good people, and just believe in yourself enough that you deserve the very best.
Wow. I like that. I like that a lot. I've learned a lot from you here tonight, Francis.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having me on the call.
I want to thank you for saying yes, and I want to thank you for sharing your story. And I know that your story will definitely, I think that everybody who watches this, and I haven't said this on any of my other podcast series, but I definitely think that people will be able to take something away from this here. Very powerful lessons.
Thank you so much. I hope they can really well.
I think so. And thank you for your time. And thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. See you guys. Hope everyone has a great night.
Good night.
I'll catch you guys later.